Greetings, Earthlings. I'm Bean, and this is an unscripted video for the boys and girls. So, today we're going to be going over our keybinds, macros, UI stuff, weak auras, add-ons, and shampoo. Shampoo is one of those important things. Styles your hair nicely, and one of those things that has to be included in one of these videos. As you can see, my UI is a mess right now. I'll explain why. But we're gonna go over keybinds first, because I said it first. One thing before we go over keybinds, I want to show you guys how I hold my keyboard so you kind of understand my keybinds a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do, my cam is really broken, so this might literally turn off for a second. Okay, I'm gonna be very gentle. This is my keyboard, okay? It's a very beautiful keyboard, I know. So, one thing you notice here is the F keys and one key is lined up, which is a super good keyboard for MMOs. And you also notice the start button's missing. There's a reason for this, okay? I do need to cut my nails, alright? I understand. Relax, it's fine. So how I hold my keybinds, a lot of people use Shift as a main modifier. I actually use Control. I'll show you how. So I use Control, Alt, and Shift. And so how I actually hold my keyboard, is this will be really relevant to keybinds, is I actually hit Control with that. You see? So when I'm playing, I'm hitting Control like that, basically. With like the bottom of the pinky. And then I hit Shift like this. You know, I guess you could, I'm trying to like get a good angle. But, oh, that's sticky keys. And then Control, like that. You see? And then Alt would be a thumb. Alright, so that's how I hold my keyboard. So that's going to be relevant for the keybinds. And I actually think this is an alpha way to hold your keyboard. As a lot of you know, I am an alpha. I have a lot of testosterone, naturally. It's just, as you can tell, filled with high tea. And anyway, so that's how I hold my keyboard. So I'll be relevant here. Alright, so key bindings. When I was a wee lad back in MOP, I was a PvEer at the beginning of MOP, and I turned into a PvPer. And I realized that focus and non-arena, like just focusing, and it was just weird. It was different from PvE, you know what I mean? You needed focus target all the time and be able to swap it constantly and all that stuff. And that was pretty hard for me. So after PvEing for like a couple years, I took the time about like, you know, a couple days and thought about my key bindings and be like, if I really want to arena, how am I going to actually bind all this? Because there's a lot of potential shit. And I found out this thing called Arena 123. And I think you can use Arena 123. I think you can use Focus. You can use either one you're comfortable with. Like, for example, Snuts uses all Focus. There's a lot of players who use all Focus. And there's a lot of players who use all 123s. And there's some players who use half and half, which is kind of like me. Whatever's comfortable for you. But a long time ago, this might help you, this might not, this might be a useless story. But I decided to map out my keyboard. So if we go to paint here, I decided to map out my keyboard. So this is my keyboard. Okay. And I decided, and these are the rows. W, S, X. Okay, that's your keyboard. Okay, you got the F's, the ones, the Q's, the A, and the Z. Okay, with like, I don't know, tab and shit like that. You understand, right? Tilde thing, tab, whatever. Tilde's down here. Tab, shift, or caps, whatever, caps and shift. And then control. Alright, so and this is your spacebar. Okay, so what I decided to do is I actually decided to bind I had backpedal bound, and I move with Q and E, so keep that in mind. Q, W, and E. So I move with Q, W, E. I straight back and forth, and then I hold right click to like move around like this, you know? And It's just, honestly, it makes sense in my brain because that's what strafing naturally is, and then you just move with your right click, and I like it. So that's how I moved. But back in the day, I actually had S bound to back pedal, but I didn't have anything bound. I did have abilities bound to D and S. So what I decided is you don't need backpedal anymore, and I probably didn't need it back then, but I was so bad, you know, so is what it is. So what I decided to do was to eliminate S as a backpedal and make it an actual keybind. Oh, that kind of backfired. So what I did is I decided to make A, S, and D 1, 2, 3s with modifiers. So A, S, and D right now is kick 1, 2, 3. And it's been kick 1, 2, 3 since I made this. Actually, it was treants 1, 2, 3 in season 13, but then they got rid of good treants, so I rebound it. So this is my kick 1, 2, 3, skull bash 1, 2, 3, and then shift A, S, and D is my roots 1, 2, 3. Then control A, S, and D is my cyclone 1, 2, 3, and then alt A, S, and D is my hibernate 1, 2, 3. So I kind of picked a line and just dedicated it purely to 1, 2, 3s. And I mean, you can have better 1, 2, 3s or not. Like, I have a couple other 1, 2, 3s. Well, I'll explain later, but that's like the basis of my keyboard, and that's kind of what I mapped everything around, is being able to have those 1, 2, 3s. Hopefully you guys can see all that. There you go. So that's like the basis of it. I also have, you know, all these other ones are basically keybound. So my F1, F2, and 3, right? So those are focus target 1, 2, and 3. My 1, 2, 3s and shift 1, 2, 3s, and control 1, 2, 3s, had to check, brain fart, are all not anything related. So 1, 2, 3 for me is attack abilities, because it just makes sense for me for attack abilities to be 1 through 3. And then shift 1, 2, 3 was healing abilities, which kind of changed this expansion, but for the most part it was just healing abilities. So it'd be like regrowth, rejuve, healing touch, you know, shit like stuff like that. And then QWE was my movement, and so that's what that's just the basic of how my keyboard works, or like how I hold my shit and how I hold my keyboard and why I use control over the other things. So that's just hopefully a short explanation of that. Alright, so let's go over my keybinds. A lot of people ask me this. I think it's super personal preference, man. Like, honestly, like, it's super personal preference. So before I got this UI, these bars are actually called dominoes. I'll go over that later. I actually had a lot of trouble fitting a lot of keybinds in. I'd have to go into files and keybind and stuff like that. For this add-on, I don't need to. I like it. Alright, so I guess we'll just start from here on out, whatever. So, R. Okay, let's start with... Yeah, fuck it. Let's just go down the list. R is my kick. Control R is my focus kick. I prefer control over shift, so that's why it's my focus kick. And then my shift R is actually my wild charge focus kick, which can mess up if you're not in cap form, but I've had it for a long time. It's really, really nice. That's just one of those two. Next is X. So X is my cooldowns. It's always marked like X marks the spot kind of thing. It's always just big cooldowns. So X is Berserk. I'm going to try to make this a little quicker. I know this is probably going to be a long video, but hopefully it won't be too long. So X is my Berserk. Control X is my Feral Frenzy. And Shift X is to just cancel aura forms, basically. Basically Shift X and Alt X. So Shift X cancels my forms, and Alt X cancels my bark skin. And that would mainly be... Oh, whoops, wrong button. I'm getting used to this because I just made this. Alt X cancels my bark skin for the tank legendary bark skin, if you need the rejuvenation over the bark skin. I just made that, so you know. I also need to make a cancel aura frenzied regen for like my games sometimes, but a lot of times you can heal through it. But there's some situations where you need to cancel my games. I need to make that, so I haven't made it. So X is big offensive Berserk. Control X is like the semi-big offensive. You know what I mean? The second biggest one. Alright, I'm going to skip 2 for now because we'll go over 1 through 3, 4, 5 later. F is Tiger Fury. F just for me is damage. F is Tiger Fury, and then Control F is Thrash. I don't think I have a Shift F. I don't have a Shift F, and I don't have an Alt F. So, actually Shift F used to be like Hellstone and stuff, so, yeah. There's that. Control 4 is actually my offensive trinket. I made this an actual classic when I was playing classic, and I just got really used to it. It used to be something else before. It used to be Savage Roar in Mop and stuff like that. But Control 4 is my trinket. Just picked it because classic just worked really well. I changed it on retail when I started playing retail. Control 2 is my Brutal Slash. Maybe I should go over like all the control binds. Okay, so Control 1 is War Stomp. Just because it's always been my racial, just personal preference. Always been my racial. It's really easy for me to hit. Control 2 is Brutal Slash. It kind of resembles an AoE for me for all my characters. Just, you know, pick my own keybind. Control 3 is Maim. It's just my own keybind. I don't know how to explain it. Control 4 is my trinket, and then Control 5 is my other trinket. So Control 4 is my main trinket, and then Control 5 is my other trinket. But this trinket, the actual trinket, is always bound to G ever since I started playing the game, basically. It's always been bound to G, so I have 2 keybinds for this trinket, so if I do use some other trinket other than literally trinket, I don't know what to call it, medallion or something, then I'll use Control 5 for it, but I have it bound to 2 because my natural instinct is to hit G for the actual trinket. Alright, that's my control binds. Let's go to shift binds. So shift 1 is regrowth still. Like I said, shifts are usually my heals. Now shift 2, something changed in my brain. So basically shift 2 used to be rejuvenation. And shift 2, you only get rejuvenation if you go resto affinity, right? So shift 2 used to be my rejuvenation. You don't, I mean, I personally almost never go resto affinity. I know some druids do. So it was just basically like a wasted keybind 90% of the time. So what I decided to do this expansion is actually move the new abilities you got from Infinity. So Incap Roar, Ursa's Vortex, and Typhoon. I actually moved those to shift 2, and I've been loving that I did that. And I'll show you where I moved regrowth after that. So I did that. So all my shift 2s are basically all those like support binds from your new affinities. Shift 3 is Frenzied Regen, and also Swift Mend. So it's Frenzied Regen, Swift Mend, and Star Surge. So those are all like one bind. So basically all my support abilities are shift 2 and shift 3 for my affinities. Shift 4 is my Korean Potion. So this just gives me my potion. It gives me my potion and lets me use it. Shift 4 is just kind of like a heal. It used to be, I believe, wild growth back in the day for me. So it just resembled a heal. So I decided it was a really nice spot for it. Shift 5 is actually my rejuvenation now. So I switched rejuvenation from shift 2 to shift 5. Now, to be fair, when I actually go wild growth, I don't. When I actually go resto affinity, I don't actually have wild growth bound anymore. One day I'll find a bind for that, but you really never need it. So there's that. Alright, let's go through my 1, 2, 3s. As you see over here, you'll see on this bar where my mouse is at. 1 is Shred, just always been it. 2 was Mangle a long time ago, and I never found a proper replacement for Mangle. I used to use Focus Rake there, but I would almost never use it. Luckily, you know, BFA, but luckily in BFA, they came out with an ability, and I was like, okay, well, I literally never used Focus Rake, literally ever. So I'm just going to put this ability here, and it worked out nice because it was a main offensive ability. It was Azray fucking Beam or something. I don't know. Stuff like that, right? So it was an offensive ability, and it was nice. So it fit in 2 because 2 is like just a really nice keybind for me. I like it. So from BFA to Shadowlands, you know, we basically got another ability with just a different name. Literally just took the spot of it. So my lone empowerment is at 2. 3 is Rake. Always been there. 4, Rip. Always been there. 5, Ferocious Bite. Always been there. Just feels really nice to me. Just is what it is. And Bear's a little different. And Bear, I have Mangle as one. You know, never use. Honestly, instead of Mangle, I should probably put the Strength of the Wild one, Maul, because I actually don't have that bound yet. Don't listen. Relax. Don't judge me. 2 is the same thing. Lone Empowerment. 3 is actually Cat form because 3 when I want to Rake. So usually I want to go in Cat for that. So I have a nice Cat form there. Just to make it easier. I do have a cat form bind as well, but it's my brain. It's just how I set up my character. 4 is Frenzied Regen. 5 is Iron Fur. And 6 is Stealth, by the way, guys. Sorry, you don't see it here, but 6 is Stealth. I don't know where it is on my bars, but 6 is... Oh, it's down here. 6 is Stealth. So, also on my human bars, I should explain this. All 5 of these are cat form, because when I'm hitting my damage abilities... I want to make sure, like, when I'm hitting my damage abilities, I'm assuming I'm in cat. So it's just kind of like a fail-safe. I know some people have stuff bound out here, but I always got with the failsafe ever since Mop. It's never let me down. It's just really nice. You just have to have other places for other binds elsewhere. It's really nice. I really like it too. So literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is literally all cat form except 2 actually, and then stealth is 6. So and then I did bear form and cat form. Yep, we've done all that. Okay, so that's done with that. Next up, let's see. So F is Tiger Fury. Control F is an AoE ability for me, so it's Thrash. I just put it there, no real reason. Let's look at my keyboard. R, we did R. T. Okay, T is my wild charge. T is my mobility, basically, Keybind. So T is my wild charge. Control T is my dash, and Shift T is my stampeding roar. So that's just all mobility stuff. Y is my moonfire. Just because it's always been my Y. I have kind of big hands, I guess, or small keyboard. I don't know, or big hands and small keyboard or something. Yeah, just what it is. I actually made a new keybind recently. Is Focus Soothe for intervenes, mass spell reflect like that. It's Control Y. I know you're gonna freak out, like what the hell, it's so weird. But if you looked at how I hold my keyboard, it might make sense to you. Shift Y is Growl. You know, never use it. It's just there. Okay, let's see. What else? H. H is my thorns. That's it. It's my thorns for myself. Z. Z is my root. That's it. Just regular root. X, we've gone through. Cooldowns and cancels. C is my Cyclone. And Control C is my Focus Cyclone. Don't have a Shift C. Don't have an Alt C. V is Thorns Party 1. And Control V is Thorns Party 2. B is Bash, B for Bash, and Control B is for Focus, Wild Charge, and Bash. Show you that macro later on. Nothing on N, nothing on J. Tilde. Tilde is my bear form. Tilde is my bear form. Control Tilde is my wall, and Alt Tilde is my skin. I do not have a Shift Tilde. F1, F2, F3 is Focus Arena 1, 2, 3. Control F1 is Decurse. Control F2 is Decurse 1. Control F3 is Decurse 2. Okay, now let's go through 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 is A, S, and D, as you see over here. A, S, and D, they're all different tooltips, but A, S, and D is Kick 1, 2, 3. Shift A, S, and D is Root 1, Root 2, Root 3. Alt A, S, and D is Hibernate 1, 2, and 3. Alt 1, 2, and 3 is Maim 1, 2, and 3. I don't have a Focus Maim, but I have a Focus Bash, but I don't have Bash 1, 2, 3, and I have Maim 1, 2, 3. It might be a little confusing, but that's just how my brain works. And then Control A, S, and D is Clone 1, 2, 3. On my mouse, I basically have all my heals for the most part for my partners. I basically on my mouse, for my classic hunter, I use all pet abilities really, and on my retail, I use basically all healing and support. Except this, mouse wheel up is my actual cat form. If I don't want to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, mouse wheel up is my actual cat form. Mouse wheel down is my deer form or cheetah form, whatever. Mouse button 5 is heal regrowth party 1. Control mouse button 5 is heal party 2. Mouse button 4 is swiftmend party 1. Control mouse button 4 is swiftmend party 2. Alt mouse button 4 is rejuvenation 1, and Alt mouse button 5 is rejuvenation 2. And I think that's all the binds there. I think so. So yeah, if you want, you can rewind and check it out. Like I said, I think binds are super personal preference, so people have just been asking me for them. So there's that. All right, I guess next up that makes sense to go to is let's go to macros, because I guess that kind of makes sense. So macros for Feral, there's nothing really super specific. There's one really cool macro I like, but like I said, this is unscripted, so I'm gonna just have to go through all my macros and tell you. So this is actually a really cool one. This roots the pets no matter what. I don't actually use this right now because I don't have room for it, because I actually replaced it for something. But this basically will root any arena pet in the game. If there's more than 2, it might get a little confused, but usually there's not 2 pet classes in one game. Really cool, just one button to root a pet. Can be really useful actually. I probably should rebind this. All right, this right here is my macro to use loan empowerment and to use my on-use trinket when it's a harm target. So when it's something that's red that you want to kill, it'll use it. If it's not red, it's not going to use it. Really nice. I'm going to make a pastement of this eventually. Probably, probably people will ask me tomorrow about it or something, and I'll just make a pastement on stream or something. But if you go to my stream and maybe in the next day or two you type in !point macros, it's probably going to be updated. I haven't updated it yet, but I'll do this for you guys after this video. Or like tomorrow when I wake up, because I'm going to bed after this. This is just a show tooltip dash with thrash, literally nothing. This is a really cool macro. This is something you guys are going to want. So basically what this does is, you know how you get something for every affinity? So if you look here on my shift 2, when you go Guardian, it'll be Incapacitating Roar. When you go Resto, it'll be Ursula's Vortex. And when you go Boomy, it'll be Typhoon. Same if you look at my shift 3, it'll be, Regen, Swiftmend, and Star Surge. Super sick macro. Yeah, super sick macro. I think it's actually this one. I'm pretty sure this is the one of these is. I'm pretty sure it's this one. But yeah, I'll link the proper one in the !Point macros when I get a chance to make it. This just show tooltip. So this is one of my cancels. Basically, I'll cancel everything. Like a bop if you want to cancel it. This is rarely used, kind of, but sometimes it's good to have. It's good to have just in case. This is just the same thing as the other one. It'll make the icons different based on what you play. Tiger, you see down here, Tiger Dash, all that. It'll make your icons different. Super nice macros to have. The same thing here. Same thing with Bash. Super nice macros to have. Go to Master Tango, go to Heart of the Wild. Super nice. Go through them quick. So this is just use my trinkets. So this is control 4. This is control 5. It'll just use, that slot trinket. So even if you change trinkets, they'll be still there. Don't need these. Cyclone 1, 2, 3. Pretty basic. We went through the cool macro already. The cool macro is literally just the ones that change your bars. So this is my Cancel or Barkson. Super simple. Cancel or Barkson. If you're running the tank Lego. So this is actually my focus charge. Focus wild charge. Focus Mighty Bash, which is amazing. It'll only focus charge if you're in range, but if you are in deer, it will awkwardly focus. It'll awkwardly just wild charge. Like it'll awkwardly jump you around. But super nice to have IMO, like almost stupid proof. There's just focus Cyclone with a Barkson tooltip. This is the same thing. This is the wild charge skull bash one, so basically the same as the bash one, but this is how like barrels sometimes will kick you from like 20-30 yards away instantly. It's because the wild charge and spam kick at the same time. Focus Hibernate. Honestly, I don't even think I have it bound because I have Hibernate 1, 2, 3s. You don't need any of this. Don't need focus wild charge. This is my Hibernate 1, 2, 3s. This is actually the same as the Entangling Roots one from up there. This will actually hibernate a pet in Arena, which you can't actually do right now. So I actually have this bound right here, if you guys see. But honestly, I should probably just replace it for the Roots at this point, because the Roots are going to be much more detrimental, because you can't even hibernate pets right now. So I'm actually going to do that right now. You literally can't hibernate pets. It's pretty useless. So that'll actually be nice. Alright. And then, yeah, the rest of it is just Hibernate 1, 2, 3. And then here's my kicks with just a show tooltip on it. I could just delete these, honestly, because I used to have different bars, so I had show tooltips on them. But with this add-on, I don't need it. There you go. And then this is just MAME 1, 2, 3. Same with the show tooltips. Used to have different bars. Just delete those. There's MAME 1, 2, 3s. This is Moonfire 1, 2, 3. I used to have it. I changed it for Hibernate instead of Moonfire 1, 2, 3. Don't need that. Don't need that. This is just a party macro. If you guys wanted to Google just party frame macro, it just puts you at the bottom of your frame every time. It's nice. I'm pretty sure there's an add-on out there for it. Someone wants to post in the comments or anything. Don't pally stuff. So this is root 1, 2, 3. Same thing. Just has a tooltip. There you go. So it's just root 1, 2, 3. This is just for growth party 1. For growth party 2, same thing, just a tooltip change. Fixing my UI on a YouTube video. Pog. This is just rejuvenation 1 in party 2. This is just regular rejuvenation. This is decurse 1, 2. This is my boomkin macro. You don't need that. It's focus soothe. Oh, this is kind of, I mean, it's not really that cool, but it's 2 buttons in one basically. If I hit tilde without holding control, it'll do bear form. If I hold control and hit tilde, it'll do survival instincts. Just a 2-in-1 macro. And the rest of this is warrior stuff. Let's search here. Silver 1, 2, 3. That's beankin stuff. Enraged maul. I don't actually use it. It's just focus cyclone. This is again just cancel everything. Not really sure what that is. Just move fire 1, 2, 3 that I don't use. Cyclone 1, 2, 3. Add another duplicate. Here's my Thorns party 1, Thorns party 2, and those are some tests, and that is nothing. So those are my macros. Nothing really special except those first couple ones. Alright, so I'm gonna try to quickly go over my add-ons, man. Maybe I should make this 2 videos. How long are we going? 26 minutes. We're gonna make this 2 videos, guys. I am so sorry for debating you in the beginning. I'm gonna put that in the comments that this does not include my UI stuff, weak auras, add-ons, and shampoo. I'm going to include this in my next video. Just so you guys know, the bars are dominoes, okay? If you want to know the bars right now, they're dominoes. I'm going to do another video on this other stuff because this is way too long. I'm super sorry. Hope I didn't debate you. And the shampoo, next video too. I'll probably upload it pretty soon, in like probably a day or 2 or something. Bye, thanks for watching.